And there are these infinite number of possibilities where what we exactly want already exists out there in the ether. Our job is to simply tune into that ether and become one with it. So eventually, that's the life we're gonna be living. In today's video, I wanted to share this awesome insight from Neville's book, Power of Awareness. And I wanted to focus more on the feeling aspect of manifesting. As I was looking back at my old contents, old videos and whatnot, what I found out was I wasn't focusing on the feeling aspect of manifesting as much. You can at least recognize your thoughts and say like, okay, I'm thinking this way, it's negative, so let me change into positive. But when it comes to feeling the feelings or the emotions inside of us, we may have a lot of resistance and we may try to sweep it under the rug. And my goal with this video is to give you some tools that you can use in everyday life. So whenever you have these triggering thoughts and feelings, you can instantly go into this place of feeling more secure within yourself. In fact, you can change those triggering thoughts and feelings so rapidly, and you can start living in the wish fulfilled right away. Also, wanted to wish you a very happy new year, and please don't forget to mention all of your accomplishments in the comments section down below. It doesn't matter if it's big or small, but it's really important for us to give ourselves the credits that we deserve, okay? Because a lot of us are really hard on ourselves, and I don't want that to happen for you. So whatever goal you manifested in 2022, please let me know down in the comments section below. So let's get on our computer screen and we can read this passage out of Neville's book, The Power of Awareness. We're reading from chapter 8, which is the renunciation. First, let's look at the meaning of renunciation, okay? According to the Oxford Dictionary, the definition of renunciation is the formal rejection of something, typically a belief, claim, or course of action. So let's go into our reading. There's a great difference between resisting evil and renouncing it. When you resist evil, you give it your attention, you continue to make it real. When you renounce evil, you take your attention from it and give your attention to what you want instead. Now is the time to control your imagination and give beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Lord, that he might be glorified. This is a really beautiful phrase here. It's now time to take control of your imagination and give beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, praise for the spirit of heaviness. A lot of times we start facing these fearful thoughts or thoughts that may trigger us, make us think that we are so far away from manifesting our goals, or there might be something completely opposite of our goals that may show up in our reality. When that happens, we can be grateful for it instead. And I know it may sound like this really crazy concept. How can you be grateful for these triggering thoughts? I don't want this to happen. And if you're giving too much energy to the triggering thoughts, aren't you going to create more of that? I know all these questions might be in your mind, but what I'm talking about here is we're not giving attention or more power to the thoughts itself. What we're gonna do is we're gonna transmute those emotions, feel them, and let them release them. Instead, in the technique that I'm gonna be sharing with you here in a second, what we're gonna do is we're gonna feel the energy of those thoughts, right? Or the feelings itself, and then we're gonna release them gradually. And when we do this, we're gonna come from this place of abundance instead. Let's keep reading for now. You give beauty for ashes when you concentrate your attention on things as you would like them to be rather than on things as they are. You give joy for mourning when you maintain a joyous attitude regardless of unfavorable circumstances. That's what we're talking about here. You give praise for the spirit of heaviness when you maintain a confident attitude instead of succumbing to despondency. Like I was saying earlier, we have to become sort of this like spiritual and mental alchemists who are able to turn our feelings and emotions from one state to the other. And you can try to change your thoughts, but when it starts to become more of this mental game, you may get lost in it. That's why I like to focus more on the feelings when I'm trying to alter my own internal states. And even if you want to change your thoughts, it may not be as easy because you have to get into this meditative state and you have to start analyzing. And whenever you start analyzing, there may be more chance to get lost in your thoughts and simply start ruminating the same things over and over again. There has been a lot of debate between what comes first, whether the feelings create the thoughts or do the thoughts create feelings. Because if you read books by David Hawkins, he may tell you that the feelings create thoughts. One feeling arises in your body, it comes with these bunch of thoughts. That's according to him. Also, last year I was watching some videos from Kim Village, who's another great manifesting teacher, who's she makes up videos on YouTube as well, but she was talking about how thoughts create feelings. And I actually hate that argument because I think it's the both ways. It goes both ways. Sometimes your thoughts create the feelings, and sometimes your feelings also create different kinds of thoughts. So, because they're always interlinked with each other. When it comes to manifesting, definitely our thoughts have this power to steer the direction between where you want to go. And the feeling part is more like this engine without which thought can maybe not have so much energy to get to where it want to be. So think of the thought as a steering wheel of the car, but without the feeling, your intentions may not be able to travel very far. If you start focusing on thoughts, it may just completely make a U-turn and start focusing on what you don't want instead, and the things that you don't want, because that's what you're seeing in your reality, right? So in order to steer that right back into place, what you can do is simply focus on the feeling. You can feel these feelings in your body. You may be feeling angry, you may be feeling hurt, you may be feeling depressed. And when we start noticing these emotions, what starts to happen is we'll start to feel them in certain parts of our bodies. And we're gonna get into the manifesting part here in a second, like how to actually turn them into the desired thoughts and desired outcome. So the first thing you have to do is simply observe the emotions that comes with these thoughts and these feelings. Whenever there's something that's going on in our environment that doesn't feel favorable to you, for example, if you receive a text from somebody and they're completely rejecting you and you start feeling triggered, instead of just like thinking and ruminating about what happened, because I think that's the tendency that a lot of us have. We keep repeating this scenario all the time, and we may start thinking to ourselves, maybe I could have done something differently, or we may even blame the other person for harming us in some way, and we question their intentions, we question our intentions, and we get into down to this rabbit hole. But instead of that, what I want you to do is simply observe your thoughts and the feelings associated with it, and define that emotion, right? That's step number one. Define that emotion. The step number two is, after defining the emotion, regardless of what it is, whether if it's anger, sadness, or anxiety, observe it in your body. Which part is it most active upon? And it could be different things. When I feel angry, I feel it in my gut area. And sometimes when I feel maybe some hint of rejection on the 3D, I start to feel it more on my throat area. Try to observe where it is exactly in your body. The step number three is, these emotions have certain form of energy, whether it is moving, feeling stagnant here. Just try to observe like the nature of this energy. I know it's probably something you wouldn't want to tune into because it feels uncomfortable, but it has this certain form of characteristic. Get rid of all of your thoughts by this point and simply sit down with the energy itself. So after that, step number four is simply give love to this emotion for being there. Without judgment, simply start feeling love for it because it's a form of energy and it's a part of you. What we're trying to finally do here is flush out these feelings and replace it with something that's more desirable, which actually happens automatically. Final step is simply give love to yourself as you're giving love to these emotions. So I know it sounds a little tricky, but what you have to do is simply feel love for yourself for doing this work. Because when you are doing this work, you are actually clearing these emotions out. And when you start to give love to yourself for giving love to the feelings, it starts to become this like a feedback loop that keeps going around over and over again. And all of a sudden, you find yourself in this feeling of gratitude. And this is really awesome because you can start visualizing, you can start affirming. After I've done this process, when I have let go of these triggering thoughts, whenever I think of my desire, they don't seem as far out of reach. Now there's no more resistance that's blocking me to get towards it. And that's how you'll be able to give beauty for ashes and joy for mourning and praise for the spirit of heaviness, right? That's how you'll be able to do that once you're able to flush these emotions out of your body. Also, what I think is happening here is whenever you're flushing these feelings out and tuning into this elevated state, you're actually becoming one with the consciousness, the power that creates all of our realities. And it's the same consciousness or God or your higher self, whatever you want to call it, right? That's where the desire came from too. And that exists out there already. And there are these infinite number of possibilities where what we exactly want already exists out there in the ether. Our job is to simply tune into that ether and become one with it. So eventually, that's the life we're gonna be living. Whenever you stop resisting those triggering thoughts and feelings, you'll be opening up a completely new possibility which is going to help you manifest what you want with more ease. Let go of the resistance and feel the feelings fully. If we feel the emotions fully, what starts to happen is we're going to start feeling very lighter and get into this elevated state from which we can manifest our desire with more ease. So try out that technique, and you don't always have to wait to be triggered in order to do this. You can simply think of your goal and start to observe within yourself. Are there any discomfort that's arising? Are there any thoughts that are arising that may tell you that I'm still not there, I still can't have it yet, right? Whatever your desire is, try to analyze your thoughts or your emotions to see if there's anything that exists within that tells you that you can't have it at this moment right now. And try to go over those 5 steps process that I shared with you in order to flush those emotions out, to flush the feelings out, in order to get to that elevated state from where you can create exactly what it is that you want. With that being said, guys, I want to once again wish you a very, very happy new year. I know we have this really exciting year ahead of us, and I also have this free gift out, this free Neville Goddard course, which you can download, and it's like the 7 days challenge where each day I'll be taking you through a different technique. And with that being said, guys, I want to wish you all the very best. Happy manifesting. Goodbye and namaste.